All right, welcome to Cardio Flow for the care of Waldenstroms. I'm here with a live group of 20 folks from all around, and we're here to get our blood moving, help strengthen and help improve balance. This class is really designed to get the blood moving, and that can help us stimulate circulation. That can help get the oxygen moving to your extremities. And all of this can help manage your symptoms like fatigue and peripheral neuropathy. And I'm really excited today because our class is going to be infused with some of the things that we learned yesterday in our peripheral neuropathy webinar with Nancy Campbell. She is an exercise physiologist at Dana-Farber Zachem Center, and she shared a lot of stuff that actually, I'm sure you, if you're in our classes, you recognized, and she put her own spin on it, and I also learned a few new things, so I'm going to infuse our class with those movements and her recommendations for them. So the goal with those particular movements that we'll be doing today are to help increase strength and balance, to help improve your symptoms, to maintain or increase strength and muscle mass, to maintain or increase bone mass, to improve your quality of life, to decrease inflammation, and to help tolerate side effects. So those are some things that Nancy listed as benefits of doing exercise as it relates to peripheral neuropathy. And I would add that basically all of those things help with fatigue as well. And we know that physical activity is the #1 intervention for cancer-related fatigue. So let's get started. I'm going to start just with a warm-up head to toe. So let's take just a big stretch. I'm just going to stay seated to start and then release my arms down. And I'm going to start with just rolling my shoulders up, back, and down, kind of getting the blood flowing. All right, and then, yeah, let's do that, Susan. I'm going to lift my arms up as far as I can and then bring them back down. So I'm just starting off with a few easy movements. My breath is moving in and out, welcoming you, Beth and Edith and Ruth and Anne. And Greg, got your name right this time. I'm sorry it had your wife's name, or assuming your wife's name on it. All right, let's just do one more, and then we'll move to the neck here. So I want to give you some stress release. I'm going to move my head from side to side. So I'm tilting one ear towards one shoulder. And I'm breathing as I do this. And we're just noticing. So part of any of the classes that you'll take with me are that I like to help you improve your overall awareness of how you're feeling in your body. And this can help with your sense of where you are in space. And that can help especially when you have issues with balance. So it can help improve balance. All right, let's do one more on each side. All right, and then I'm going to stretch. Let's try both arms at the same time. Stretch both arms out, and I'm going to bring my arms back a little bit. So I've created a nice open chest, and then I'll bring my arms in front. And I'm going to curl my fists around my thumbs and drop my knuckles down. So I'm breathing in, opening, and opening my arms. And exhaling, arms in front, fist around the knuckles, drop them down, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, moving at whatever pace feels good, whatever breath cycle feels good. I'm just getting some blood flowing to the extremities, my hands, my wrists, my shoulders. I'm going to take one more. Good, and then I'm going to just take my arms out to the sides with the palms facing in front and give yourself a hug. Notice which elbow is on top. And we're just going to drop the chin down. Good. Inhale, open wide. We'll do the other side. Opposite arm on top, if you can remember which. Dropping the chin down. Good. And then we'll come back up. And I want to share with you one of Nancy's tricks here. So she did this one hand at a time. For our sake of our class, I want to do both hands at the same time. So what she did, she actually rested her hands, her elbows on something, but I'm just going to hold my hands up. So one at a time, we're going to press for 3 seconds in the index to the thumb, the middle finger to the thumb, as hard as you can, ring finger to the thumb, and the pinkies. And maybe the hands say yes, maybe the hands say no. Shake it out. Do a couple wrist circles. We'll do another set. Finger taps, she called them. And this is especially for those of us who have arthritis or peripheral neuropathy in the hands, the wrists. So again, I'm pressing and holding for 3 seconds, strengthening my fingers, going from my index out to my pinky, one at a time, just noticing. That's good. Last one. And then another set of wrist circles. All right, then I'm going to get my biceps pumping a little bit. So I'm just going to bring my arms straight out in front with my palms facing up, and I'm making a loose fist. And I'm going to do one at a time. Lifting up and pushing down and back, right? And if you can use little hand weights here if you want to add, but that's sort of another class at this point. I'm kind of wanting to keep cardio flow really all about just flowing and moving. And of course, there is some strengthening involved in this. Can you move your mind to that muscle that you're using, the bicep, and really squeeze the bicep so you can almost feel like the blood going into that muscle? A couple more on each side. Beautiful. And then let's go ahead and take a little bit of a wider stance, whether you're seated or standing. And I'm going to do some torso circles here. So I'm just loosening up. And if you're somebody with back issues and you're not sure how this is going to feel for you, go slow, take a smaller circle. Right? If you're standing and you're doing this, you can do hip circles so that the hips move rather than the torso. And we'll do that as well. You got it, Glenn. That's beautiful. Coming back the other direction. And then let's come back. And we're going to step our feet in and out. So I'm walking in and out. You got it. And continuing to do that, I'm going to move back so you can see my full body here. Walking in and walking out. And I'm holding on to my chair, or I'm holding on to my hips. Walking in, walking out. And then I'll come back and I will just stay with my feet straight out in front of me. And I'll stretch one leg out in front. Maybe it's the right leg. So I'm pumping the foot down and I'm peeling the toes up. Stepping on the gas pedal, as Nancy called it yesterday. So moving the joint can help us, and then moving the blood around the joint, moving the muscles. And we're switching sides with that left leg out, heel on the earth, pointing and flexing, just hoping to get just head to toe a little warm up there. All right, and then if you're standing, I would like you to try this seated. So I'm going to come to sit if I'm not already there, and I'm going to come to the very back of my chair. So I feel that support, and I'm going to lift both feet up, squeeze the legs together, zip up your core, and the arms can stay on the lap or the arms can reach straight out in front. So I'm sort of like Frankenstein arms here. Oh my gosh, Lois, that's too cute. She's holding her dog up for a little extra strength training. Big breath in. And then exhale the legs down, give the thighs a massage. Got it, Seal. And we're doing that again. We're lifting both legs up, squeezing them together, zipping up the core, arms straight out in front. You got it. And releasing down. And then this time, I'm going to come forward a little bit. So this is seated core work we're doing. It gets a little harder when you come away from the back of the chair, and I might want to figure out if I'm balanced before I let go. Or I could keep my hands on the chair. So I'm squeezing my legs together. I'm zipping up my core. I can really feel this. Maybe my arms are reaching straight out. If I have lower back issues and I need more support, I might slide to the back of the chair. One more breath. You got it. Awesome. And then I'm just rubbing the top of the leg. All right, option to stay there or slide to the back of the chair or move forward one more little tiny bit. So kind of getting progressively harder here. And if you feel like you're going to fall out of your chair, you're too far forward. So sitting up nice and tall, squeezing the legs together, arms straight out in front. Maybe you want to move the arms a little bit. Opening and closing. Squeezing those legs together. This is really great. I can feel the work here. And then we're going to come out of it. You got it. Just rubbing the tops of the legs. And then taking a moment to just observe. Could take 3 breaths while I decide whether standing up is an option for me today. If I'm not going to stand up, I can stay seated and we can modify things for you in a seated posture. If I'm ready to come to stand, I might do so slowly, and I'm just going to come to stand mindfully at my own pace, right? Or if I'm sitting, I'll stay seated, and right away I'm going to get moving out of my chair. I'm coming out of my chair. Those of us who need to wear foot protection are hopefully wearing your sneakers, good supportive shoes. I'm, a yoga therapist and yoga person, so I even forgot my shoes today. That's how used to being in my bare feet I am. But that might not be for everybody. So if you're seated, you can walk in place in a seated posture or do something else that feels good to you. Opposite arm, opposite leg, you're going at your own pace. I'm getting all of the joints moving here practically. And my goal here is to just get the heart rate up a little bit, right? Get a little bit of aerobic exercise, which Nancy talked about yesterday being a really important part of our exercise regimen. And if you want some aerobic exercise and you're coming to the Ed Forum this year, Glenn Cantor is leading a hike on Thursday morning. So feel free to reach out for more information on that. We can get our aerobic exercise in the mountains, well, not too mountainous, I hope, outside Seattle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. So I'm standing in place and I have something nearby I can hold onto. That might be my wall, that might be my chair, right? Or if I'm seated, I'm going to do these exercises as well. So I'm going to notice my feet. And I might even look down at my feet, especially if I have decreased sensation in my feet. I might want to look down and see that they're kind of lined up. And I'm going to send a request down to my toes and see if I can lift all 10 toes up off of the earth and spread them really wide and dig them back down. You can't even see my toes. So I'm lifting my toes up, spreading them as wide as I can, and digging them back down, maybe. And if your toes aren't responding, that's okay. Right? You can simply ask them and visualize it happening. And we were talking about the power of the mind yesterday. And then we'll do some of our, what Nancy called calf raises and I call tiptoe floats. So we're coming up onto the balls of the feet and then slowly coming back down. And an important addition that Nancy brought into this is to push through the big toes. They're big for a reason, right? So a lot of us might wobble to the outside edges of the feet. There's less support there. So I'm making sure that I'm pushing through my big toes, as well as all the other toes, really, as I come up and down. And then, of course, if you like to add a little arm movement, maybe you're lifting one arm up, floating your way down, feeling that strength. So strengthening, an important aspect of helping manage the symptoms of PN. Floating up and down. So you could do maybe 10 of these. Nancy also suggested that you do this while you're brushing your teeth. And I'm like, Nancy, we get along so well. So I'm going to take a little stretch right now. You can keep floating if you really love that. I'll walk away from my chair and I'll keep my hands on the back of my chair. Make sure you don't have a rolly chair and you're going to go rolling away. And my goal here is just a little stretch to the backs of the legs. I might keep my head lifted if I have glaucoma or vertigo. If I feel okay doing so, I could actually take a peek down at my toes and maybe see if I can get the toes to move. And I'm finding my breath at the back of my body, seeing if you can breathe into your back. That's good. One more like that. And we're coming up nice and slow. And I'll turn towards you. Take a little bit of a wider stance. So a lot of you have told me that you're recovering from flu and infection. And I want to help you move the sides of your body to support recovery from lots of coughing. And this is good whether you're recovering from a flu or not. You can do this seated or standing. So I'm going to stretch my right arm up and over. Right? If I have issues in that right shoulder, I'll keep my hand on my hip. And I'm coming back. And I'm just going to move from side to side, exploring. Opening up the side body, stretching the muscles between the ribs. Finding my breath. And as I do this, I'm also rooting down through my feet. My legs are strong. You might want to do one more on each side. All right. And then I'll just turn towards my chair again, but this time I'm going to sink down into my knees and bring my hips back. And I'm going to isometrically push my feet apart. So I'm really strong through my legs and my glute muscles. That's good. Now maybe you would like to challenge yourself by lifting the arms straight out in front. The palms can face each other. That's good, Mike. I'm going to inhale and straighten my legs and lift my arms up overhead. As I exhale, I'm going to sink back down. Weight is back in the heels. Good. We're going to do 4 more of these. Breathing in. Breathing out. These are essentially squats, right? Inhale. Exhale. Move at your own pace. Try to keep the back flat. Good, and I think we've got one more to go. You got it, Beth. Really nice. And then if this feels like too much on my low back, like that can kind of get my low back going, I like another stretch here. So taking my legs back, and maybe I can get a little farther away from the chair this time so I can feel the space in my spine. Good, and we're coming up nice and slow. And again, I'm getting my blood flowing. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Could I lift my legs a little higher this time? I don't have to go as fast as possible. Maybe there is some other movement your body would rather be making. I would like to give you options. Maybe you want to walk forward and back and side and side and forward and back and side and side. And you're doing this at your own pace. And one more. Good. And then I'm just going to lean forward a little bit. I'm going to let my arms dangle. And I'm going to sway my arms from side to side like two elephant tree trunks. I'm going to let go of effort throughout my shoulders, my elbows, my wrists, and I'm not going to care what I look like doing this. I'm just going to let all my cares and my concerns drip off the ends of my fingertips. And I can feel this is really doing something good for relief of joints in my hands. And then we're coming up nice and slow. All right, and we'll do a little bit more balance work here. So one thing that Nancy showed us that I really liked were those standing leg sweeps. So you're holding on, your weight is going to start in your right leg, and we're going to sweep that left leg out to the side. Doesn't have to go very far, and we're coming back down. Either you could put the foot down or you could just hover the foot above the earth. I'm holding onto my chair for support. Out to the side and slow return. I can really feel the work in my standing leg. So there's a soft bend to that right knee. Let's do two more. This one's hard, isn't it? You got it. Last one. And releasing. And then I'm going to switch sides. That might mean I turn away so I can use my chair the other way, or I could just turn my chair, whatever feels best. Weight will now be in the left foot, and I'm picking up my right leg and swinging it out to the side, and then coming back and hovering, right? Try to keep everything stabilized. And I'm breathing as I do this, a total of 5. Soft bend to that standing leg's knee. Beautiful. All right, and then let's turn towards the chair. I'll take my right foot forward and my left foot back. And today we're going to have all 10 toes facing the chair rather than the toes out to the side. So all 10 toes facing straight ahead, and we're bending into that right knee. So we feel a really big stretch on that left calf. Really big stretch here. And maybe you would like to add a little bit of arm movement. Maybe it's just the left arm coming up and over, or maybe it's the left arm just moving out to the side. Got it. And then we're going to come back, shorten the stance a little bit. So I still have my right foot forward, and now my left toes are out to the sides a little bit. And I'm going to take a fold forward, resting my forearms on the back of my chair. Pulling the belly up towards the spine to protect my low back. And if I'm somebody with neck issues especially, I'm going to make sure I'm not just jutting my chin forward. I want to kind of tuck that chin up. You guys are doing great. One more breath. All right, and then a little bit of strengthening here. I'm going to put the weight into my right foot, kick up my left leg a few times. Kicking up my left leg. Right, this is good to strengthen the low back, but if I'm concerned about my low back, I might take it easy here and not go up as far. And I might really stay connected with the way my core feels. That's good, and good. And then we'll do all of that on the other side. So I'm going to step my left foot forward and my right foot back. I'm going to have all 10 toes pointing towards my chair. And I'm going to sink into my left knee. So I'm getting a really big stretch here, pressing down through the back of that right heel. While the right arm maybe wants to reach to the right or reach up and around. But I'm really rooting down. Getting a good calf stretch here. Breathing. One more breath. You got it. And then let's shorten the stance. And the toes can go out to the side a little bit, of the right foot. Leaning forward, taking a bow, tucking that chin, belly up and in. Finding my breath. Good, and then we're making our way up, putting the weight in that left foot, kicking up the right leg a few times. Doesn't matter how high it goes. And you can skip this if you're concerned or you're feeling low energy right now. I'm going to start training for that Seattle hike now. All right, and then I'm coming back and I might want to do one of those stretches or I might want to walk in place. So it's up to you. You could do a stretch or you could walk in place. I'm breathing. Maybe the knees go up a little higher. Maybe I slow it down in order to stay balancing on one leg a little longer. And there is no perfect here. There is no right way, just listening to your body. Maybe you want to hold on to the chair. It's like a game of freeze frame, slow motion. All right. And then I might do the same thing, only I'm going to bring my legs back behind me. And so you can see, I'm just kind of doing this slow movement, opposite arm, opposite leg. It's a whole body movement. And I love whole body movements because they really help us with coordination and proprioception, where my body is in space. I can feel my back heel, I can feel my front fingertip, my whole entire body. All right, one more on each side. And then I'm just going to come back, take a wide stance, and take some hip circles. Moving in the other direction. And then I'll come back and I'm going to sink into my knees a little bit so I'm kind of ready to go. And I'm going to get out my fists and I'm going to punch the air to the right, punch the air to the left. And this could be a loose, easy, gentle punch, or you might have something you need to get out of your system, right? So it could be a little harder, but I'm going to just go at my own pace. And I can really feel this is giving my spine a little bit of rotation. Finding my breath. So I might even be looking at that one thing to the left and to the right that I'm punching towards, right? So my gaze is going with me. Little soft bends of both knees, so I'm ready. Good, you got it. 5, 4, you got it, Inga. 3, 2, 1. All right, nice job, guys. Walk it out. And this time as I walk, actually I'm going to hold on to my chair and I'm going to see if I could kick my heels towards my butt. And I'm getting a little stretch to the front of my legs while I do this. Feels pretty good. Got it, Ginger. All right, and now I am ready. I'm really warmed up. I feel really good. I want to try some balance work. So I want to imagine that I've just rolled out. Yeah, take a sip of water. Let's take a sip of water before we do this. Thank you, Mary. Very good. Cue. So if you're seated for this, I want you to close your eyes and imagine walking on a balance beam with us. So in my standing version of this, my balance beam, I am going to, again, imagine that I've just rolled out a balance beam in front of me, and I'm going to bring my arms out to the sides like a tightrope walker. And I might have to start by looking down and just walking one foot in front of the other, heel to toe, heel to toe. Good. And then I'm going to try doing it backwards. I want to find a place to gaze, right, that is not moving. I want to kind of relax a little bit, like let my knees bend as I do this. And I want to have a little fun with it. If I fall out of it, that's totally fine. Where am I looking? Can I look somewhere and just fix my gaze there? If I feel safer looking down, I could do that. Feeling the sense of your whole entire body, walking forward and walking backwards, walking on that straight line, walking the balance beam. Really nice, guys. Beautiful. And we know that walking backwards can help us as well. Could help with knee pain, could help improve balance and gait. And it certainly is challenging for the brain. Okay, maybe one more time. All right, I'm coming back. I'm getting off my balance beam now and I'm taking a wide stance. I'm going to bring my arms out to the sides. And I'm twisting my torso to the right. I'm letting my hips go with me. Twisting my torso to the left, letting my hips go with me. But this is a slow, controlled movement. Right? So I can feel my obliques or the side abs kind of working as I do this. And what's helpful for me is the inhale is to center and exhale to the side. You can do this seated. You can do this standing. We're going to do one more on each side. Good. And then option to do one more of those arm hangs, right? Whether you're seated or standing, just letting the arms really dangle. And imagine the blood flowing into the fingertips. Good. And then when I am ready, I'll come up from that. And I might feel like it's time to come to a seated posture, and I might do so really slowly, coming to sit. And for a little seated cardio, you can row, right? So I'm going to take hold of my oars and pull across my chest. Reaching forward, pulling back. Imagining I am rowing in a rowboat, breathing. I'm going to do 3 more. Good. I'm leaning my whole torso forward, leaning my whole torso back. Beautiful. And then I'm going to do one more set of hug. So I'm going to bring my arms out to the sides and one arm on top, tuck the chin. Breathing in, open wide. Exhale, one arm on top. Good. And then before we get to our closing stretches, I want to do one more foot exercise. So Nancy talked about drawing the alphabet. I think we'll just do a couple letters. So I'm going to stretch my right leg out. And with my toes, I'm going to draw the letter A, B, and C. And then I'll switch sides and lift my left leg out and draw A, B, and C with my toes. Noticing which side feels more challenging. And you could do that one more time on each side, drawing whatever letters you want. Right? Maybe you want to spell out your own name. Switching sides when you're ready. Good. And then we'll wind down with a couple stretches that I like to end almost every class with because they're so good. So I'm going to stretch my right ankle over my left knee if this feels doable for you. And you could get into this shape and think, okay, I'm already feeling enough. You might just stay right where you are. And that might be quite enough, right? Or if you feel like you want a little more, maybe you reach forward with the heart, leaning forward a little bit, right? If you have to strain and struggle to do that and you have to round your back to do that, don't do that. Just stay where you are. And I'm going to soften my shoulders here. And I'm getting a stretch for the right hip. Maybe I could do like a little post-hike stretch for us, Glenn. That would be fun. Okay, and then we're sitting up tall and I'm already planning May, what's happening in May. Cross that knee all the way over. So I have my right knee nestled on top of my left and I'm going to use my core muscles and twist to the right. Right, just a little bit. I don't have to go very far here. And I'm putting this really gentle rotational pressure on my spine. And that is a good thing to lubricate the joints in the spine. That is a good thing to actually help stimulate bone growth. And we're going to be talking all about that in our next webinar in February. Come on back to center and switch it up. So I've got that left ankle on top of the right knee. I'm going to modify this. Feels like I really need to stretch this today. And maybe I stay right where I am, or I could reach forward a little. Softening the shoulders. Can you find some easy breaths here? Right, we're noticing our energy level after our session. Right, do we feel more vital? Do we feel like we need to go take a nap? There's no wrong answer. Could sit up tall, cross the knee over, and we're taking the twist on the other side, twisting to the left. Keeping the back nice and tall, right? So I'm nice and in line here as I twist to the left. And then slowly coming back. And I'm going to maybe interlace the fingers, press the palms away. Juice up the fingers. I could take one more stretch, arms overhead. I could move from side to side a little bit if that would feel good. Any other movements the body's asking for, and then we'll just close our session with a mindful moment. So I'm going to ask you to find a comfortable seat. If you're really tired, you could, and you have a bed or couch, you could go lie on it. All for listening to the body. But if you'd like to join me for a mindful moment, right where you are, you can notice your feet on the ground, your seat in the chair. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so, or just lower your gaze And we're going to take 5 breaths in a row. We're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth. 4 more breaths at your own pace. And then to come out of it, I might take my glasses off actually and rub my hands together and just cup my palms over my eyes, drink in a little bit of darkness for a moment. A lot of us caring for eye issues, or it might have even been the way we were diagnosed. So I'm going to roll my eyes around within my eye sockets. And just take a little bit of this calm vitality with me into the rest of my day. So I'm slowly fluttering the eyes open and maybe putting my glasses back on. And I will just close by telling you thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you in another wellness offering. We'll have chair yoga on Monday, which is a lot like what we did today. Probably more breathing techniques and more meditation and more classic yoga poses. But it's very similar, so if you're interested in that, you're not on the list, please reach out. Next Friday, we'll have another cardio flow class, so 2 in a row. And we'll have the recording of our peripheral neuropathy webinar coming out soon too. So thank you so much, my friends. Keep taking exquisite care of yourselves, and I will hope to see you really soon.